Hey, Sal, today let's talk about perfectionism and how so many times we can let that it needs to be perfect derail us from achieving whatever our goal happens to be in regards to our health and fitness. But I want to talk about lessons from a board game. So, bought a new board game through the week. And so on the weekend, I sat there and I read the rules. So we knew what we were doing. And we started playing this game. And we got to the end of it, and then we worked out who the winner was and everything like that. And then there were a couple of questions that we had as a result of it. So, you know, good old Googled it in regards to the game and said, what do you do with this? And what do you do with that? And anyway, so those rules were not on the piece of paper that came in the box, which was interesting, right? So I went, okay, this is great. So anyway, what happened was I went, okay, we're going to write those down on the rule sheet. We know what it is. And next time we're going to improve. And it was like, well, hang on a minute. The kids are gone. Hang on a minute. We need to look back at that and work out, because maybe somebody else won rather than this person based on those things. And I went, no, it doesn't matter. This was us just playing the game, having some fun, getting involved and learning as we go along. And I think that's the important thing, is that when we want it to be perfect, it stops us. When we allow ourselves to take action and get involved, then we learn. When we learn, we grow. And I heard a quote, I'm just trying to think what it was. Perfectionism stops growth. And it's so true. Yeah. So let's talk about, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, and perfectionist takes the fun out of it.
Oh, doesn't it just? Yeah, it does. And of course, the thing is, we're never going to be perfect.
No.
So how do we apply this, what I've learned from this board game, how do I apply this to fitness? And I think the first thing is that you start with what you know. So I'd seen the game, I played it in the past years ago. So I read the instructions. That was all I knew. I was happy to learn as I went. I'm also happy to adjust and improve each time I do it. And I'm just happy about the process. I'm just enjoying the process of actually doing something new and learning as I go. And I think that's so true. Let's say, for example, Sal, ladies can be a little bit scared. I think these days more women are more interested in learning resistance training and lifting weights, but there's still that barrier that we face in regards to lifting. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
absolutely.
If you've never done it before, how do you start with what you know? You might know that you need a set of dumbbells, as an example. You can do so much with dumbbells, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then you just are happy to learn as you go. Now, the best thing that if you are starting out with something like that, having a coach is going to be so much easier than trying to work it out for yourself. In saying that, there's a lot of stuff available on the internet that you could just go, okay, I'm going to follow this along. But you also want to ask yourself, you know, is it the right way? Or is there a better way to do it as well too?
Because
so who is
there
it
is
that
a
I'm
lot
learning
of stuff
from?
on the internet.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So who am I learning from? Am I learning from some social media person, or am I learning from someone who's got some qualifications?
Yeah. I know for myself, when I'm looking at an exercise,
Yeah.
I will look at 4, 5, 6 videos because I'm looking for consistency.
Yes.
I will not look at the first one and go, yep, that's it.
Totally. Love that. Love that you said that, because I do exactly the same thing. Yeah. Or I will take someone who's got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and has been doing it a really long time. I will watch their videos and I will go back and back and back, and I'll be looking for, the smallest tweak that I can observe or change in order to improve. And I think that's where that adjust and improve comes in as well too.
Yeah.
And I think that attitude is such a remarkable thing as well too, because when we talk about enjoying the process, and we hear this all the time in training sessions, the moaning and the groaning. Oh, it's like, I love this weight. Yes. So you really do have to do a lot of talk in regards to it.
Yeah.
And
I
dig deep.
can't do this.
Yes.
As they literally do this.
So how do we break free from perfectionism? What would you say the first thing is with that?
Learn. Everyone should be a learner.
Yes.
Even as trainers, I've been a trainer, 14 years now?
Yeah.
12 years now. You longer. I'm still learning. I still look at things and go, oh, I want to know more about that. Oh, I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important. Be a learner.
Yeah, and it's something that we were talking about before we started today as well too. I said, you listen to these guys, and you said, yeah. And I said, it was really interesting to hear them talking about elbow position as an example, and the impact that has on what muscle you're hitting at that point. And, we know that, but we're hearing it from another source. It's also reinforcing for us that we know what we're talking about, and we see it with the ladies, but they don't necessarily believe us. We say, no, you're not hitting that muscle, you're hitting this. Where are you feeling it? And that's because of that body position, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I think when it comes to perfectionism, we just simply need to let go of the fact that we don't have to be perfect. We need to let go of that perfectionism stuff. We need to start small. It needs to be achievable, and we just need to take action.
Yeah.
Do something. Stop letting it hold us in that seat and stop us from getting up and doing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think along the way, it's really important to celebrate any bit of progress that we make, whether that is simply getting up out of the chair. I mean, in my PT sessions yesterday, we were talking about one of the ladies, it's school holidays in one of the other states, and her son loves working out during school holidays with us. So he comes in with her, and we were talking about hypermobility, and he is exactly the same as what she is. And I said, the sit to stand, the stand to the sit on the floor, it's very common that when you have that you can't get up and down. And she said, no, I can't. And he said, I'm going to try. And so he got up, and she said, you cheated, you went to your knees. And then she went to do it. She said, I can't do it. And she went to show him, and I went, oh, look at you did it. Because she'd been practicing.
Yep,
So
that's so
that
good.
was lovely. Yeah. So what's happening there is it's all about focusing on, the steps you're taking, the journey that it is. And it's not about where you want to be, but each and every step that you take. I think the final thing, Sel, is just to be kind to yourself and stop expecting so much from yourself. Yeah.
Especially, we are of that age of, Jane Fonda and, the Channel 10 aerobics mornings and all that.
I used to love those morning aerobics.
Yeah. I used to do aerobics and step, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and you'd go to your class and you knew the routine and everything. And I came across a video yesterday and it was Cher doing a step workout.
Yeah.
And it was just, step up, step down. And it was arms up, arms down, arms up, arms down. And I sent it to my sister because my sister teaches step.
Yeah.
I go and do her step class. She puts me in the corner because I am so uncoordinated.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is that step these days is like acrobatics.
I know.
Yeah. Compared to what it was in the 90s, and I've got to understand myself. That was 30 years ago. And, 30, 35 years ago, I'm not that person anymore.
No. Nor a step class is what they were.
No, exactly. So I can't expect that perfectionism. I don't even bother doing her step class anymore because I know I can't do it. I'm too uncoordinated, and you know what I'm like. I'd rather do strength training anyway. But I know I would just be, I don't want to use the word sad, but if I went into her class and I couldn't master it or perfect it,
mm-hmm.
I'd probably walk out crying.
Oh, that's sad.
You know what I mean, though? Because in my head, I could do it 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem now? Well, the problem now is that it's acrobats and I can't do that.
Well, I think the tempo of music has changed and that we want to make things fancy.
Yeah.
And it's something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Sal. It was about getting back to basics. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that in the fact that it's the basics that is what you build upon.
Yeah.
So if you make it too damn fancy, it is hard. And sometimes you can be pushing people away from it as opposed to having them feel confident in coming in and doing it. And I mean, it's one of the things that we like to do is to go back to the basics quite often and to have the ladies focus on what they need to do. As simple as, how should you be holding that weight in your hand?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I had V this morning at 7, and we know she's having issues through this part. She's ordered. I suggested she get some weight straps. So she's ordered them. They're coming today. But this morning, because we were doing heavy weights, and she would do a rep, put her weights down, and shake her hand. And then I was watching her, and she kept going like this with her head. And I said to her, "Stop doing that. Stop doing that. You don't need to. Don't shake your head anymore. Stop. I don't care if you're doing one rep and then putting your weights down.
Yeah.
I'm doing one rep and putting your weights down. It doesn't bother me because you're doing one rep."
And she mentioned that to me in PT yesterday, and it was something that I was thinking about, and I haven't followed her up as yet, Sal. But I was thinking about it because my heavier weights, rather than having, the metal bars, they're the neoprene, and they're thicker, and so it's hard to get your fingers around it. And so I think and I think she has the same weights. And so I think that what is happening there is that it's hard to grip. So it comes down to her grip. And so it means that the other part of her body, so her forearms are having to do so much work, so much extra work, and therefore it's causing her some discomfort.
And I did suggest to her this morning, because we did have that conversation too,
Yes.
the thickness of the higher weights or the heavier weights. And I know Sue at 5:30, she has the barbell dumbbells.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so she adds the little plates on the end, but the bar is a lot thinner. And I have suggested that for V. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that I've suggested it for June as well too. It was like, you know, don't keep going up with these, you know, let's go to a different style of weight, because I know personally that that is hard to grip. And, you know, and that in itself can also highlight, is my grip strength declining?
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, it's something that, you know, I know with V that I had her go to the park and do some dead man hangs to see how long she could do a dead man hang for. And, you know, the grip strength's there, and she didn't have any discomfort when she was hanging the other direction. So I really think it is that thickness that's causing the issue for her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. We digress a little, but it is but we are talking about,
you know, that's what it is. She was in there and she was looking for perfection in her workout. It wasn't happening, and you could just tell she was in her head because she kept shaking her head. Stop doing that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything you want to finish up with, Sel?
No, I think I've covered everything.
Yeah, look, I just simply want to finish up with, don't wait for the time to be perfect when it comes to starting your fitness journey. Just simply take action and adjust it as you go.
Yep.
And just continue to learn, reach out for help if you need it.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me, Sel.
Thanks for having me as always.
You are very welcome. Thanks for joining us, ladies. I hope you got something out of today. And if you did, post below. Let us know what it is. And if you'd like us to cover a topic, all you have to do is message us and tell us what it is. All right. See you all soon. Bye for now. Bye, Sal. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Peter.